G'day, welcome to Country Music World. I'm Mick.
And I'm Jay.
Today we're going to head down to Sydney and we're going to talk to one of the backing musicians of people's bands for a long, long time, who's now gone, fully fledged front guy, and he has a great career of his own.
That's right, Mick. He's not only played with the likes of Richard Clapton, he was in the Baby Animals, he's toured with Adam Brand for the last 7 years, he's one of the Outlaws, and he's a pretty handy in the kitchen too.
With the Pavlova.
The Pavlova.
With the Pavlova. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, share them around, sit down, relax. Let's get to know a little bit more about Matt Cornell.
In this town, we take care of our own. In this town, no one dies alone. We ain't got too much, but there's enough to go around. Nobody in this town.
All right, Jay, so we're going to cut across to Matty, who's going to be somewhere. We'll find out where he is right now. How you going, Matt? We got you online?
How are you, lads? I'm here. Where are you guys?
We're in tropical Townsville. You'd know.
Oh, beautiful, mate.
Where are you?
County.
Where are you, mate?
Mate, I'm in Sydney, mate. My hometown, Ermington.
Ermington in Sydney. Well,
mate, born and bred.
Thank you for taking some time out of your busy life, and we know you're a busy man, and we really appreciate you spending some time here at Country Music World with us.
We certainly do.
Mate, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Matt, let's get straight into this, mate. What got you into the country music game? Where did it all start for you?
Well, it's a long story. Both my parents were in show business. My dad still is, and I was exposed to a lot of different styles of music growing up. So, you know, I used to raid their vinyl collection. So, you know, Willie Nelson, Kenny Rogers, I remember my earliest memory was going through their music, and it was quite eclectic. It was very mixed. So I've always loved a lot of the old school country music, but it was actually touring with Adam Brand and becoming very close with him that I've ended up in the country genre here in Australia. So, mate, I'd say Brandy is either the one to say thank you or to blame. I'm not sure which one yet.
I reckon we're probably going to thank you.
Yeah,
I reckon it's
a good
I reckon so.
It is. So, you know, obviously talking about Brandy, we'll just go straight into this. You've been working like a crazy guy with him for years now. You've been playing in his band, but now the Outlaws thing. Tell us about the experience of the Outlaws, man.
Yeah, I think I was just, before we got started, talking about how long I've been with him. I think 7 years I've been with Adam. The Outlaws thing, Adam gets these ideas, and I tell you, he's one of those guys, he's very proactive. If he gets an idea, rest assured, within days, hours, it's going to happen. And it was not last Tamworth, I think it was the Tamworth before. We're about to go on stage to do his birthday bash, and he pulls me aside and goes, "Hey, Matty, I've got this idea." He goes, "You, me, Drew, Trav, Mike," goes, "The Outlaws, we're going to do this record." And I was like, "Okay, man, cool." And like literally within days, the email started, the ideas started. And, you know, within months, we recorded an album, shot a clip and put a single out. And we did a crazy tour the start of this year, especially the first 2 weeks. I think we did something like 7 shows in 9 days over 3 states. And we did, from memory, it was about 39 shows in 8 or 9 weeks. It was something ridiculous. And so it was full on and a lot of fun, I've got to tell you. The good boys.
He knows how to put stuff together, does he? He's like that. Mate. He's like that. He's you know, you give him a rope and he's onto it, you know, so he's...
Yeah.
No, he doesn't muck around. I remember he said to me once, we were just having a chat, and he said, "Mate," he said, "you know the Nike symbol?" I was like, "Yeah." He said, "You know the Just Do It, the Nike logo?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "That's how I live my life, mate." He goes, "Just do it.
Yeah.
What are you waiting for? You know,
it's
have
great.
to go."
You know, it's great. I mean, I love, personally, I love everything about what he's done with Adam Brand, the Outlaws, and you know, for someone like Brandy, you know, he's a reputable artist and he's earned his way and he's you know, he's earned his part of history in this game, which is awesome. But for what he did and the way that he's done it, to be able to put his hand down from the top and, you know, get a group of guys that are all great solo artists in their own, but then to use his resources and his knowledge and everything about what Brandy's been building for, you know, for a long time. He's been around the game for a while now. But to see someone like him in his situation do a total selfless thing, it's the coolest thing to watch.
Well, Mick, it's not new to him. Adam, since he's especially, since he's sort of been at the upper echelon of country acts in Australia, he's got a history of taking country acts under his wing and taking them out on the road. I know he was instrumental in getting MK started back in the day, and took them out on the road. I think he was the first person to take the Sunnies out on the road. He has done that for so many artists, and it's funny, over the years I've spoken to a lot of them because they know I'm close with him and I tour with him, like, Adam's been out on the road, and even Mike Carr, when Mike and Adam first got together, Mike was opening for Adam very early on in Adam's career, and he's got a massive heart. He's got a massive heart, and he genuinely wants people to do well and help people in an industry that is incredibly hard, incredibly tough. I'm a fully independent artist, self-managed, and it's just such a tough industry, and when you're doing it on your own, it's even so much more tough when you don't have label support and all that sort of stuff. So Adam, for me, has just been, he's been a rock, and he's been, it's our relationship. It's more than just like a business relationship. We're friends. We've lived together. We've cooked together. We're good mates. So I do owe him a lot, mate.
So talking about cooking together, mate, he's Brandy's he's a happy little he's a feeder. Brandy's a feeder.
He's a feeder.
Oh, absolutely.
And you're a feeder too, because you don't mind yourself behind the grill, do you?
No, mate, I go all right in the kitchen, mate. And Adam, I think he's half Italian, and the Italians, mate. If you ever visit an Italian's house, they will feed you, and he's no different. He loves it, mate. He absolutely loves it. It's in his DNA. And so there was a time he was living with me here in Sydney, and mate, every night was like an episode of MKR, mate. I tell you, it was just like great fun in the kitchen. And I mean, I can cook, but I've learnt a lot from him, and he's put me onto these. I've been pickling my own chilies for some time now. He showed me how to make them. So I always make a big batch for myself, and I make extra ones and put them in jars and give them to friends. But mate, sharing food and feeding your friends, that's what life's all about, mate.
Yeah, it is, exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah, totally.
Mate, let's talk about your music a bit. You've got a long history in music. Not all country music, but I noticed you got affiliated with one of my favourite rock bands of all time, which was the Baby Animals.
Yeah.
How did that come about for you?
Mate, it was a great gig to do. I was a fan. I used to go watch him play. Dave Leslie, the guitar player, him and I had played in many bands for years. We played in Richard Clapton's band together. We toured in Shannon Noll's band for many years, and he is an iconic guitar player in this country. Baby Animals legend. And him and I were just great mates. And he rings me one day. I don't know where I was, and he's like, mate, he goes, Suze had basically come back to Australia after living in Los Angeles for 16 years, and they wanted to put the band back together. But there was a problem with the original sort of drummer and bass player, and Suze wanted to try a different lineup. And myself and Sydney drummer Mick Skelton got the call, and I got to tell you, it was pretty exciting because, as I said, I was a fan.
Yep. And
it was pretty surreal. I remember the first rehearsal. It was down at the old stage level down in Piermont there, and I remember when Sue sort of came in the room. She's got a presence about her. And I remember the first time she actually opened her mouth when she sang. There was some goosebumps in that room on that day.
Susie DeMarchi has to be one of the greatest female rock singers ever produced.
Mate, absolutely. I've always been a believer that in Australia there's really only been two iconic rock chicks, and it's her and Chrissy Amphlett.
You're exactly right.
You got them.
You're right. I don't believe anyone comes close to them.
No. And that voice, mate, like people can get singing lessons and work on their voice, but you're born with a tone.
Yeah.
There's a particular tone that you have when you talk, when you sing, and hers is mistakable, and she's an incredible singer. And I did the gig for about 3 years. Probably did around 100 gigs with them, and every night sharing the stage with my friends and playing songs that were a part of my sort of teenage years growing up. It was pretty surreal.
That's nice. You got lucky. Man. That's a dream gig. That's a dream gig because Leslie on the guitar, wow, phenomenal.
Yeah,
Great band.
Mate, Lezo is so revered. There's so many guitar players in Australia that respect him so much. Mate, there's a great quote. Years ago when Baby Animals were opening for Van Halen all around America, playing in stadiums, after the tour, Eddie Van Halen was asked, "Who's your favourite guitar player?" And he says, "Dave Leslie from the Baby Animals."
Yeah.
Wow, that's out there.
I've played pub gigs with people that want to cover Baby Animal songs, and I pull my hair out. I'm like, you can't do that to a guitar player because he's a freak. You can't go near that guy.
You've got to know your stuff if you're going to play a Baby Animal song on guitar, mate.
Well, you might be able to play the notes too, but then you've got to get the tone. And he just leaves you behind, so, Matt, let's talk about your music, mate. So tell us about Feels Like Yesterday, which is your new single, right?
No, it was actually my most recent single.
Yep.
It was probably about, it came out, it was just on the back of the Outlaws tour, so I think around March, from memory. I wrote it with a guy called Dave Wilkins. We've got a long history together. We had a band in the late 90s called the Utopian Babies. Him and I have been mates for a long time. And I released 3 singles from my first official country release. And I wasn't going to do another one. And then, Dave rang me one day and said, "Mate, I really believe in this song. And I think it should have been a single." And I was like, well, I do as well. Maybe we can do something. So we talked about doing this release. And then Paul Stefanidis, who he shot a couple of Adam Brand's music videos, he got in contact with me and said, "Man, why don't we do a video overseas?" And I was a bit taken back from it. And then Dave said, "Why don't you guys go to Austin, Texas?" Because Dave knows I've got this love affair with Austin. I have had for many years. And this was actually, when we actually decided to do the clip, this was late last year. So we went over to Austin in October, and it was a whirlwind trip. We got on a plane, me and Paul. We had very little contacts there. We basically landed and we started driving around talking to people, and what came out of it was, I'm so proud of that video. We worked so hard, like literally 3 days in a row. We'd get up at 5 a.m. and we'd get to bed at 11 o'clock at night or later, and we were just shooting, me just mingling with a lot of the locals. And if you haven't seen it, boys, check it out. We really worked incredibly hard. And that single, in terms of chart positions and stuff, has been my strongest one to date. It was in the charts for about 16 weeks and on various country charts, peaked at number 1, and I've got another one, as you boys know, coming out this Friday.
This Friday. Which is going to be...
What's that one called, mate?
Yeah, what's the song?
Mate, this song is called In This Town. Now, I wrote it with Alan Caswell. I feel like I was possibly the only guy, only person in the country world that hadn't written with Alan, because everyone has. So about 3 months ago, I drove up to the mountains. It's about an hour and a half from my house where he lives. He's up in Medlabath. And first time we wrote this song. I think it's one of the strongest things, if not the strongest song I've recorded. And I knew straight away. Basically, sometimes you go into a writing session, you don't want to go empty-handed, and I just had a few unfinished ideas, and I said to Alan, I played him a couple of things, and nothing was sort of grabbing him. And then I played the chorus to this song, and straight away I could just see his ears pricked up, and he got all emotional, and "Oh, this is great, I want to write this song." And he came up with one line that was just, basically set the tone for the whole song. And as I said, the song's called In This Town, and it's about a town where everyone takes care of each other, everyone's got your back, and there's a line that Alan came up with: "Nobody's a nobody in this town." And that pretty much tells you what the song's about. And I'm so proud of this song. Matt Fell produced it. Matt's done my last 2 albums. Everyone knows Matt Fell. The song was mixed by a mate of mine in America called Paul Lanny, who's like a world-renowned mixing engineer, and Paul Stefanidis, who did my video in Austin. We just shot the clip for it. I'm really proud of the video. And so Friday, I'm going to get to share it with everyone.
So people are going to see that on CMC?
Absolutely. In fact, after I speak with you boys, I've got to send the uploaded file to CMC for the single, and so it'll be on CMC very soon. But you'll be able to see the video this Friday. The single will be available for download on iTunes and Google Play and a couple other outlets this week. So, I can't wait to get this one out, boys.
It's funny you mentioned Paul Laney being world-renowned. mixed a few people. Prince,
Yeah,
U2.
just a couple.
Yeah, just a few, mate. Robbie Williams, Megadeth, David Bowie.
Yeah, you're very composed, Cordy, because it was such a subtle name drop. It was like I didn't sort of do the whole la 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 la. You skimmed past it, and I know Jay under the table sort of nudging me like this, and I'm like, I love the humbleness of
There was
guys
that
like
little
yourself.
female artist he mixed to. What was her name? Shania Twain. That was her.
Yes, Shania. Oh, you know what? And it's funny. Paul mixed. My first release was in 2007, and it was an EP called Miles from Texas. Again, there's the Texas connection, and Paul, through another mate, I got to meet him and we chatted online, and he mixed my first record. But since then, him and I have become very, very close friends. We talk every week, and it's really special. I think when you're a songwriter, when you're a musician, when you work in production or whatever, when you get to do it with your friends. Yeah. And Paul works so hard when he mixes my songs. He spends days and days pulling it together. And just the other day, I sent him a little link to view the video, and he was so emotional. I actually watched him on Skype watching my video, and because I wrote the song, he mixed it. My mate Paul Stefanidis did the video. It's all your friends coming together, in the best way possible in creating something that it's my legacy. Long after I'm gone, my music's going to be out there, and so to have Paul involved, it's pretty special because not only is he talented. The guy is an absolute gentleman, so I love working with him.
It just makes it that little bit nicer, isn't it, when you get to hear a little bit of the inside details, and then right at the end you say, and he's just such a good human.
Oh, mate. Absolutely. You hit it on the head, Mick. You hit it on the head. I mean, at the end of the day, if we're in this together, you want to be doing it with people that you enjoy, and people that you love and care for, So it's just a bonus when you get to have that kind of connection with someone you work with.
Now, Matty, look, you're touching in on certain parts of your life, and I mean, I know that me personally, I'm fascinated. I just want to talk for hours and pick your brain and just see what's going on in there, because the wealth of knowledge you've got from a career, and it's a colourful career. I mean, the musical journey you've been on so far is, you've been associated with big reputable people in this game, and just to even have that knowledge inside your head now makes me instantly drawn to you, because I want you to pass some part of that knowledge and wealth on to me. So
thanks, man. That's really kind of you, mate.
I know that your show reel as such is going to be massive, but if you can narrow it down to a few, what are the highlights for you? And it doesn't have to be in a country game here. You just, from the start of your music career to now, what are the big moments that just leave you starstruck?
Look, I've had a lot of career highlights, but I think one of the biggest ones was recently I got to open for Richard Marx on his Australian tour, which was massive. I've been a fan, since I was a kid, and when I got that gig, I actually. I got an email. It was about probably 11 o'clock at night. I was about to go to bed. I heard an email come through, and the promoter had sent me an email saying it's official, you're opening for Richard. And I was just like, I was pretty stoked. And initially I thought I was going to be able to do it with a band, but they said no, they just want you and a guitar, which was great, but incredibly daunting. To be, all the shows were sold out. Just walking out on stage in front of an audience that did not know me, did not know my songs. And working really hard to win them over, and Richard was lovely, and after the tour he gave me a beautiful shout out on social media, which was so cool, and so that whole experience was definitely way up there.
As a singer, there's again we keep talking about these great people that you've been surrounded with and lucky enough to come across, and wow, what a singer that guy!
Mate, unbelievable.
Yeah,
guys, I've got to tell you. His voice, again, tone, but it sounds exactly like it sounded on those records, excuse me, back in the 80s. And an unbelievable singer. He's control, just his vocal chops were just out of this world. And just watching him every night was an absolute thrill. And I'd stand side of stage, I'd walk up the back behind the sound desk. I was trying to soak it up as much as I could. And he's a total pro, not just as a singer-performer, just his stories, his banter, his stage presence. It was world-class. It was great.
And he's a heck of a songwriter as well. He writes for so many people. So,
well, he sold over 30 million albums, and the funny thing was he was using an Australian band, guys from down in Melbourne. Jack Jones on guitar. It was an awesome band.
yeah.
And when they literally had one rehearsal on the Wednesday, I think, when he flew in on a Tuesday, he had one rehearsal with the Melbourne band. Then the first show on the Friday night, they had an extended sound check, which was like another rehearsal. And so I got to watch a lot of that. And I hear them start to play a Keith Urban song, Long Hot Summer, and I knew the intro. I was like, this is a Keith Urban song, don't tell me about this as well. And because he wasn't doing his banter, this was just sound check. And then when the show started, he goes, I wrote a few songs for Keith, and this is one of them. I think he wrote 3 big singles for Keith Urban.
Yeah.
Long Hot Summer, and he's written songs for NSYNC. I mean, it's ridiculous. The guy is, the talent he's got is ridiculous.
So, Matt, look, there's a lot of young people out there striving to get into the country music world, and it's a hard road. Can be a hard road.
Absolutely.
To crack into it. Got any advice for them?
Wow. You know what? It is sometimes from the outside looking in, the music world can look quite glamorous. It can be really exciting. It's got some great things that make you want to be a part of it, but it is also very, very hard. And so my only advice would be is to work really hard and to not give up. And if you can, write your songs or work on your songwriting, collaborate with as many people as you can, and just, do as many gigs as you can, because at the end of the day, there's no apprenticeship you do in the music business. Just by getting out there and doing gigs, meeting people, working at your craft, whether you just sing, whether you play an instrument, and don't stop. I remember Pat Rafter was on Enough Rope once with Andrew Denton, and he said something that really resonated with me. And he said to be good at something, to exceed at something, you have to be obsessed with it. And, I know myself and a lot of other artists and musicians, I've been obsessed with this game since I was a kid. Both my mum and dad were in the business. I used to watch them rehearse and sing and go to their shows. I've been around it, and I've always just been completely sort of immersed in everything to do with music. And I think if there's anyone that's young and wants to get involved, that's what you got to do. And educate yourself with some great old records, get into the Beatles, listen to David Bowie, listen to Willie Nelson, listen to all the old stuff as well as the new stuff. And so whatever I can offer, that would be my bit of advice, I think.
That's great. Awesome. It's simple and effective and is 100% true.
I love what you're saying about listening to the old and the new.
Yeah.
Because we can't exclude people in our musical journey. It's all. There's room for everybody.
It's all relevant.
Absolutely, it's relevant. I mean, Brandy talks about his influences growing up. Like, of course, he listened to country music, but he's a massive Springsteen fan. He loves Chisels. Creedence. And for me, both my parents, because they were sort of in and around cabaret, and my dad sang in big bands and whatnot. So when I was 4 and 5 years old, I was listening to Ella Fitzgerald and Frank Sinatra, and I still remember.
I still listen to Ella Fitzgerald. I love Ella Fitzgerald.
Right? And I remember my mum's Willie Nelson albums on vinyl. It's funny. I've got a mate. He owns a local coffee store down the road, and he's got all these old vinyls on the wall. He's got a big vinyl collection. He spins vinyl when you go out for a coffee. And I was in there the other day, and I just saw a Beach Boys vinyl sitting there. And I mentioned to you boys, my mum's down visiting from Queensland, and I saw this thing and I held it up to my mum, and I said, do you remember buying me this? And it was the Beach Boys' Greatest Hits. And I remember getting that for my birthday when I was, 7 or 8. And I was obsessed with the Beach Boys. I went through a whole period of listening to them, and I think it just shapes you. I think as you go on to play music, write songs. If anyone listens to my style of country music, there's a lot of influences going on there, and it's not just from modern day country. There's a big melting pot of artists that have shaped me as an artist over the years.
Matty, where can we find you, mate? Like, I mean, you've got all your social media thingy-majiggies. Where's the best place to keep the rundown on the Matt Cornell journey, which is just starting in our eyes in the country scene?
Yeah, you know what it is? It's just starting in my eyes too, boys. As I said, I've been doing it a long time, but I feel like, I'm just sort of cutting my chops in the country world here and getting some things done. But look, I've got the same Matt Cornell music, whether it's my website, Facebook, Instagram, that is my tag. So, and my website's just www.mattcornellmusic.com.au. Facebook is /Matt Cornell Music. Facebook, I'm very active on. So if you want to keep up to date with anything that I'm doing, shows, obviously this week with a single coming out, I'm putting a lot of information out there for that. So, and Instagram, if you want to see, my pointless, pictures of coffee and fluffy dogs, come and join me on Instagram.
Everyone likes hashtag fluffy dog. There's nothing wrong with hashtag fluffy dog. I'd like that photo. I'd double click that photo. I actually double clicked one of your Facebook photos the other day, and I nearly broke my screen because I forgot I was on Facebook and not Instagram.
Mate,
What's going on with this
I do
thing?
it all the time. That's why I did that post the other day. Sometimes I'll be out, I'll be killing time having coffee, and I'll do these on Facebook or on Instagram. That's why I had to say, how many other people do this? And of course, there was a lot of people who said, yeah, me, I do it.
Well, there's so many. You got, and we're going to know them all. It's like, man, I'm busy enough. I'm busy enough to know that I just snap book someone on Twitter. Like it's pretty full on, right?
Oh, it really is. It really is.
Matt Cornell, it is a pleasure to have you in our industry, and Jay and myself, we welcome you into this thing, and I know that everyone else does because you're a great guy. I haven't come across a single person that hasn't just bowed down to you, and it's talking to you right now. I 100% know why, because you're a beautiful guy. You're the real deal when it comes to music, and man, stay in this industry. Don't go back there. Stay in here, and
get stuck with me, boys.
Be part of it, and and I say to people, get around Matt Cornell and support this guy, because you can't have what you've got in your head and the career that you've had right up until this point without just knowing that we can go and watch you and you're just going to be amazing. So,
Mick,
yeah,
you're very kind. Thank you, gentlemen.
I love what I hear you're doing at the moment, and we're going to make sure all your links are below, Matt.
Yep.
And good luck with the Outlaws down at Denny, and if you want to snap Twitter or whichever one you want to do.
You can hash faces into one of those.
Hash faces, yeah, you can hash faces.
Yeah.
And make sure you hashtag Country Music World. Now, I'll be waiting for this hashtag from Denny from you.
You know what? It's a deal. I'll do that, and I might do like some kind of group thing with all my fellow Outlaws. But I've got to tell you, we haven't actually been together for some time, so there's a big chance.
It'll be a joyous photo.
There may be a few beers consumed around. They've got a big fire backstage there, so I can see it now after we come off stage. One or two quiet ones with the boys.
I can see the hashtag now. Hashtag Denny Ute Muster. Hashtag Country Music World. Hashtag Fluffy Dog. Write them down, because that's what's going to be.
Mate, there'll only be 3 people that know what it's about. There'll be more now.
There'll be a few more now, yeah.
Now, before we go, you heading to Tamworth? What do you got planned for Tamworth,
I
mate?
am. Look, there's a few things here. The clip I mentioned, the one we did in Texas, has been nominated for Independent Video of the Year, so I'm attending the ICMAs.
Yep. Hey, I'm going to be there. I'm up for Producer of the Year.
Oh, nice one.
I am. So we're going to have it's like 10 o'clock in the morning. We'll have a beer anyway.
Oh, yeah.
It don't matter.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. So I'll be opening for Adam as well, and I'm doing just a few bits and pieces around there. I'm only doing the one show with my band, and that'll be it's at Blazers on the 28th, I believe.
Nice.
So I'll be seeing you on the 27th, mate, at the ICMAs.
Absolutely, mate. We're gonna share a beer and another story. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you, Matty. We wish you the best in your future, mate. It's going to be a long one, and we're going to stick around and support you in every single thing you do, man.
Absolutely.
You're good, man. The pleasure's been all mine. Thanks for having me, and thanks for your kind words and the shout out. And I look forward to that fluffy dog beer when we catch up.
Matt Cornell, good on you, mate, and we'll talk to you soon.
Cheers, lads. Have a great one.
All right, well, there you have it. There's Matty in the flesh. He's a very humble guy.
Mate, he's very humble considering the wealth of experience he has at the top level too.
Oh, man, if you get impressed by people that can drop names, you probably want to have a conversation with Matt. Yeah. But the thing I do like about Corny is he's just so humble. You wouldn't know.
Very humble guy.
You know, we had to go prodding a bit to get the information out of him when it comes to that sort of stuff.
Yeah, we had to research a little bit. He wasn't going to drop them for us.
We did our research on you, Mr. Cornell. You know, he's had a great year with Adam Brand and the Outlaws, and hats off to Brandy, and we touched on it in the interview. Hats off to Brandy for giving these boys a go, or not giving them a go, but giving them another platform where they could take their music out as individual artists. And we love seeing artists do that, and I'm glad Matt made mention too how much Brandy does. He does a lot for this industry.
Yeah, he's allowing artists that otherwise wouldn't be able to play on that sort of level platform. He's putting them up there with him, and it's good on you, Brandy.
Yeah, absolutely. Remember, he's got a brand new single coming out very, very soon. Go and check that out. We're going to make sure all his links are below, so you can keep an eye on the Matt Cornell journey, and you should. We're so glad he crossed over from rock and come from his background and his knowledge that he has. And, if you go and you see Matt play and you listen to him sing, you can hear all that knowledge and all that experience in what he does. And
I think he's very at home with the country genre.
Yeah.
So I think he's found his new home, and we're expecting big things from Matt Cornell.
Oh, it fits him like a glove. I'm really glad that he's made the change over, and now, Corny, I think we're going to hang on to you for a little while here, son. So don't go back, stay here with us, because you're really, really good for this industry, and we do appreciate exactly what you're doing for us all right now, because it's really nice to listen to. Matt Cornell, on behalf of Jay and myself and everyone here at the Country Music World, we wish you all the best in your future, mate.
Check out Matt Cornell.
Did you like that interview and want to see some more just like it? Then check them out right there.
We've got artist interviews. We check out the festivals that are happening in your area.
We'll have a look at the country music birthdays, and then we'll dive back into the history of Australian country music.
We've got the CMW Country Artist of the Week chart as voted by you, and we also have heaps of weekly prize giveaways.
So give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, because together we can make a difference in the country music world.